Good morning, New Life. Happy Mother's Day, New Life. Mother Africa, that is. Happy Mother's Day. Let me start by some expression of gratitude, and also I'll follow it up with an apology. I want to thank African Americans in this country for paving the way for Africans who left motherland in search of greener pastures to come into this country and pursue and achieve their dreams. It was the blood, sweat, and tears of your forefathers who were carried away from Africa into slavery here in America that made it possible for people like me and millions of other Africans to come here and acquire quality education, quality standard of living, and able to provide financial support for our families back home. It was the continued sacrifice of the descendants of the African slaves that made it possible for me and for millions of other Africans over the years to be able to acquire American citizenship. You probably may not know this, but 70% or more of Africans who have acquired the U.S. citizenship have done so directly or indirectly with the help of African Americans. Your centuries of presence here in the Western Hemisphere makes it more welcoming to people from the African continent than any other place in the world. That is because it is it's much easier to travel to a foreign land, to a place where you know people, or you see people that look like you, than a place where you look like a total stranger. You have made it possible for us to share with you in equal proportion the rewards and dividends of the sacrifices of life, blood, sweat, and tears of your forefathers who died in slavery here in the Americas. You have continued to extend these priceless privileges to us without even realizing you were doing so, and without demanding public accolades, dividends, or acclamations. On behalf of Africans who have directly or indirectly benefited from your sacrifice and goodwill, I humbly stand before you today to say thank you. I told you at the beginning that I also have an apology to make. I come to you today with an apology because it appears that your brothers and sisters back home in motherland have failed you. We were supposed to take care of business at home and make motherland homely for you to come home, but we have failed to do so. It is over 400 years now since you were carried away from home. And for over 400 years, we have failed to make motherland attractive enough to lure your hearts home. We are yet to build a homeland for you to be proud of. We are yet to make Africa a place where you can send your children for further education, like universities. We are yet to properly manage the abundant natural resources, such as gold, uranium, oil, diamond, copper, etc., which your forefathers left behind to our care when they were carried away into slavery. We are yet to make Africa the envy of the world. We have allowed motherland to be ravaged with endless wars and sellouts by African thugs who camouflage as leaders. Senseless and endless wars that have made it necessary for Shelvis and Nancy from this church to risk their lives, dodging bullets and other deadly weapons in their effort to spread the word of God in southern Sudan. We have allowed motherland to be a testing ground for deadly war weapons, testing ground for newly invented drugs, and a dumping ground for medical and nuclear waste from the industrialized countries. Our foolishness has brought motherland to her knees and make her look like a beggar when she's actually a queen. But don't give up on motherland, please. Don't give up on motherland. Human beings have a natural tendency to shy away from whatever or whoever will taint their image. Some go as far as denying their relatives who dress shabbily, live in projects, or speak Ebonics. I remember when I was in boarding school in Africa, on one of our visiting weekends, one of our students was visited by his mother, who came on campus walking barefoot and looking like what is similar to what you call a bag lady here. She brought for her son some coconuts, bananas, oranges, and some chewing stick, which she carried on her head in a locally made raffia palm basket. When her son was told that his mother had come to visit him, he took one look at her and pretended he never knew her. He told us, his fellow students, that she was one of the village women who had come on campus to hawk bananas and oranges. He was too embarrassed to acknowledge his mother before us, just because he did not look glamorous and did not look sophisticated and well all dressed up. Just like that woman, Mother Africa today does not look glamorous for some of us to claim as motherland. Just like my classmate in the boarding school, some of us try to every possible way to distance themselves from anything Africa. Even those of us who arrived here not too long ago have changed their names. Some have married Caucasians in an effort to purge Africa from their system. But the Jews went through this whole experience also. Since the death of King Solomon, Israel knew no peace. Right after the death of Solomon, Israel was divided into north and south between Jeroboam and Rehoboam. Theologians, you know that. Not long after that, the Temple of Jerusalem was destroyed, and the Jews were carried away into captivity by the Babylonians, the Syrians, the Persians, Romans, etc. in succession. For centuries, the Jews were in disarray, and there was no Israel until after the Second World War, about 1948, when Britain and America created the present-day Israel and resettled them in the geographical area occupied by the biblical Philistines, now we call Palestinians. Therefore, no matter how disappointed or embarrassed you may feel about the present image of Africa, please don't give up on motherland. Don't give up on her. She is your heritage, no matter how unattractive she may appear to the rest of the world. On the other hand, Africa is not as bad as it's portrayed in the media. I encourage you to take some time to visit a country in Africa and experience motherland for yourself. Yes, war may be going on in places like southern Sudan, but there is peace and tranquility in places like Nigeria, Ghana, Gambia, Senegal, Cameroon, Kenya, Zambia, and other African countries. There are many beautiful resorts, beaches, hotels in places like Abuja and Lagos in Nigeria, Accra, Ghana, Nairobi, Kenya, Banjul in Gambia. If you doubt me, watch African movies and see what Africa looks like today. African movies are not made on movie sets like they do in Hollywood. They are filmed live in the public environment as people go about their day-to-day lives. African movies will give you a true picture of the state of things in Africa. And these movies are available in most African stores next to you, very close to you. I encourage you to buy African music CDs and add them to your music collections. This will help open up your mind to appreciate other styles of music outside R&B, hip-hop, Southern gospel, etc. Make effort to visit at least one country in Africa in your lifetime. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to also reconnect with your roots. You can even adopt one African country as your own. Try and learn an African language. Your heritage and identity are directly tied to your name and language. If you lose your name and lose your language, your identity will be gone, and you will become whatever your manipulators want you to think that you are. Africa may be on her knees today, but she is still your motherland. In the last verse of what I prefer to call the Black National Anthem, written by James Weldon Johnson, it says thusly, "May we forever stand true to our God and true to our native land." Somehow it's omitted in the song we sang today. I don't know why. But anyway, I'll conclude by saying this to you. Know thyself and be true to thyself. To love Africa is to know Africa. Thank you.